Kemi Badenoch is the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK, and he's been a major reference point in Nigeria in the last couple of days. He's accused the Nigerian police of robbing citizens instead of protecting them. The Niche has, of course, supported Badenoch, who has been trolling Nigeria prior to becoming leader of the UK opposition Conservative Party, made the comment during an interview with a UK journalist. The British journalist asked her if she trusted the UK police, and in response she said, "I do. My experience with the Nigerian police was very negative. Coming to the UK, my experience with the British police was very positive. The police in Nigeria will rob us." When people say, "I have this bad experience with the police because I'm black," I say, "Well, I remember the police stole my brother's shoe and his watch." Interviewer exclaimed in shock, "They took his shoe and his watch." Kemi continued, "It's a very poor country. People do all sorts of things. So giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But that is not just the problem. That is not the bar we should use for the British police. When I was burgled, for example, the police were there. They were helpful before they eventually caught the person. This was in 2004. That was 20 years ago." That's not the only comment by Kemi Badenoch that has continued to attract reactions both for and against in recent times. She's also taking a swipe on the country itself, Nigeria, saying she doesn't identify herself as a Nigerian but as a Yoruba, and then of course saying she doesn't want to have anything to do with northern Nigeria where there is hardline terrorists and all of that. Well, reactions as usual have continued to trail out. One of them coming from Vice President Kashim Shettima, who asked her to just drop her Nigerian name. So we know she's gone with the UK. But let's just take a little excerpt from the interview, and we'll be back with our guest in the studio to talk more on this. Stay with us on TMI.
Everybody else is running. I don't want the UK being turned into the sort of place that everybody else is running from. Somebody has to defend it. When people come to a country, they should want to be a part of that country. We are not a hotel. This is our home and we need to look after it. It's not about bringing the culture from the other place and turning the UK into the place you've just come from. If I wanted to be in Nigeria, I would have moved back to Nigeria. I don't want to recreate Nigeria in the UK. And I think that there are many people who come from countries where they want to recreate what they are familiar with in the UK. That is bad for social cohesion, and it is bad for the very things that made Britain what it is. There's things that I call liberal values, free speech, equality under the law. People don't understand how special this stuff is. Freedom, that being treated the same no matter who you are, whether you're the poorest person or the richest person, the presumption of innocence, something that's thrown away with cancel culture. We've got to fight these things. I know what it is like to live in a place that doesn't have these things. So it's very, very precious. And I will die to protect those things.
Okay, Kemi Badenoch there expressing her views and perspectives on some critical issues. Part of it is her willingness to die to protect certain values in the UK, but apparently she doesn't really care about her own country. But Prof. Julius Iyasele is the former former chairman of ASU in Uniben, and the former HOD of the chemistry department in Uniben. That's my department, actually.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
PhD.
Thank you, Prof.
Oh, well,
thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the love.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the attention.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate that.
Yeah, very glad also.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
So quickly, the things she's talked about, for many people, they are reflective of the realities in Nigeria. I mean, because this comments from Kemi Badenoch is tangential to some of the revelations that have come forth from Dele Faro to me over the judicial system in Nigeria, how certain individuals, sell judgment and they always win cases and all of that. So let's start off from there.
Yeah, it's only the result or the truth is in a public space. Interview an average Nigerian, whether young or old. They find out what it actually holds here. It's not different from what Kemi has said. The only problem is that truth is being hunted in Nigeria. That is why some of those side comments from maybe people who are also on the corridors of government are making that. Otherwise, the truth is with the people. Is it okay if we talked about the security apparatus or thereabout, the police and all that? I read a clip somewhere that some persons who were traveling to Bayelsa at a checkpoint, they found that they had some money. The police found that they had some money in their possession and all that, and the money was substantial. And the next thing to do was to kidnap them and all that. We have said so many persons who were killed because they found some valuables on them. Now, one of the problems that precipitated NSAS was that so many of these young boys, what they call them Yahoo boys, are hounded, most times arrested, and asked to transfer instanter some money to accounts of the security apparatus that are meant to protect. So what is different from what Kemi Badenoch has said? No matter how you try to mask or cover a pool or thereabout, I'm sorry I'm using this word on air, but the truth about it is that the stench remains. It is unsightly what you see. And so that is the situation that holds in this country. There's no way or anyhow of trying to paint it and all that. Some persons are Kemi had made that statement out of frustration. She really wants to be a Nigerian. You hear what she said? This is her country of ancestry and all that. And so she wants to see this place do well. Okay. And that is the same thing that is really puzzling so many of us. That is what we're having.
Okay. Our focus this morning as our starting point on our conversation segment is on the comments by the Conservative Party leader in the UK, Kemi Badenoch. Okay, should I say Nigerian-born or Yoruba Kemi Badenoch? And that's coming from the comment that she made that has triggered a lot of reactions across the world, literally. We're joined now by the president of Network of Civil Society Organization of Nigeria, Comrade Engineer Emmanuel Ogbidi. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers.
All right, Professor Emmanuel Yasele, you were on the plank that what she said is reflective of the realities in the country.
Very succinctly. That was where I put it. It is very, very clear. There is nothing different. If you ask me, I hold the same opinion with Kemi and so many persons. The only thing I expect some persons to quarrel about is where she had made some of those comments. But for how long are we going to continue to cover this stench? Like I have said, it's odoriferous, no how. It's unsightly. Whatever is bad, when you see it, you try to mask it in no way. So that is just the way it is. It is, they say evil persists when good men refuse to speak. And that is what Kemi has said here. We have to put it the way it is because we cannot breathe in Nigeria. We have to let our politicians, however, our rulers know that that is the state that we are in and all that. And that is the same thing that Kemi has really exhibited.
Well, what do you make of the reaction of the Vice President, I almost said Kemi Shetima.
Yeah.
The Vice President Shetima,
yes.
Because he was the first person to react to this issue.
It's very unfortunate. One would have thought that Shetima would face realities, face the problems, the campaign promises he made to Nigerians before ascending to power as the Vice President of Nigeria. Not to hound what Kemi has said. In fact, Kemi, out of frustration, has said, I'm not dropping my Yoruba ancestry. I'm only saying that I have no connection with Nigeria. And so many other persons have said so. If you go to the nitty-gritties of the Afenifere, for instance, many of them have stepped away from Nigeria. Or is it what are the Biafrans telling you? That they are no more interested in Nigeria. And so many. You come in Midwestern, at a time, some persons had argued that this is the only region that was created by a referendum. And so we should return back to Midwest. It has been like that. It is what is in the minds of the only way politicians will do this to return to turn a new leaf to the way they rule over this country. Okay. That is it.
Comrade, some have accused Badenoch of trying to trigger an ethno-religious crisis in the country by saying she has no bearing, nothing in common with northern Nigeria infested with hardline terrorists and all of that?
Okay, thank you very much. Just to quickly say this first, that patriotism is not the fact that anyone speaks to cover the rots or decadence in his country and try to present a picture of the fact that all is well. That is not true. And every one individual who is trying to whip up a sentiment from the ethnic aspect of the comment of Badnoch is only trying to be the typical Nigerian that this crop of political elites or political leaders has made us to be or made us to feel. Because Nigeria as a country over the years has been divided. We have been divided. We have been separated with the lies of religion. That I belong to this religion and you belong to this religion. That I belong to this ethnic nationality, you belong to this ethnic nationality. That I belong to this party and you belong to this party. Whereas there is no distinct or separate ideology within from all of these parties and politicians. So just trying to pick that aspect from what Badnoch has said is trying to whip up the sentiment that does not exist, which is not true. And the question is, what is not true in what Kemi has said? What is not correct? She is not saying, I heard what is happening in Nigeria. She was a first-part experience. She had a first-hand experience of what she's saying. She grew up here in Nigeria in the midst of fear, in the midst of insecurity, and in the midst of corruption. Which one is not true? None. She said, in my neighborhood, we hear every day people are boggled. And the fear is that house has been boggled. Which one is next? She also said that the Nigerian police as an institution is something that nobody can be proud about. That they will rob you, that they will kill you, and nothing will happen. Which one is not true? In Edo State today, we are just battling an issue of the death of Kaduna Eboybodin, a man who has served this country, served this state, served the civil society, peace-loving, killed, sent to his untimely grave, avoidable death, owing to the unprofessional conduct, harassment, and intimidation of some men of the Nigerian police force. And you say Badnoch is wrong? If at all anybody is supposed to correct or speak to the issues of Badnoch, is he the vice president? Obviously not. He will always whip that sentiment because that is typical of every Nigerian politician. Now, a vice president whose presidential lodge was renovated with billions of Nigerian currency in a country and in an economy where minimum wage cannot purchase a bag of rice, is criticizing Kemi. A vice president with all of these status, whose government where he sits and presides over has brought about economic woes, where the dollar is almost below the Ghana cedis, where the Nigerian naira is far now below Ethiopian baht as we speak, due to the policies of this same government that he serves and he presides over. If you feel that Kemi has said what she shouldn't have said, and if you feel that they were not truth, it is only a motivation to your government to sit up and wake up and deliver the dividend of democracy to Nigerians, which is the crucible of the whole matter. So, take it or leave it. The fact is that Kemi has said what is true, what is correct, what Nigerian government should be concerned about. She has helped, perhaps, let's assume that the president was not aware how bad the Nigerian institutions are. Because my concern and my happiness is this. I've listened to her carefully. Kemi is not speaking against Nigerians. Kemi is speaking against the Nigerian state, a system that is not working, a system that sits on the talented individuals. Kemi is speaking against institutions of governments that are not functional, a system that is not functioning. A national TV recently made a documentary of the Nigerian Police Training Institute and came out. If you look at those documentaries, you will understand that no sane individual will be thrown out from such training process. So when you see the aggressiveness, when you see the forcefulness and the aggression of a typical Nigerian policeman, you should know where they were trained.
Okay, let me pursue that.
How many Nigerian policemen have their uniform from Nigerian government? And Nigerian policemen saw their uniform, buy their shoes. It's only gone. We don't know if they are buying for themselves.
Okay, let me pause you there. Prof.
Yes. There's this question you're asking. Maybe we need to go into the archives about Kemi's knack for dislike for the Nota Boko Haram, as she put it. That you mentioned about trying to whip up
ethnic and tribal sentiments.
Yes, but then, however, let's go back to history. The ancestry of Kemi hold that same opinion. Remember, Obafemi Awolowo was to meet with Zik at Asaba. That is pre-independence, to discuss about, independence for Nigeria. And unfortunately, that is the same anger that has, remained till today between the Yorubas and the Igbos. And Obafemi went to Asaba and didn't meet Zik. And Zik had gone to the north to meet, is it Tafawa Balewa now, or the Sultan of Sokoto, and all that. And Obafemi Awolowo was, livid with anger. All that was that then that the Yorubas were ready. The Igbos should also be ready for independence. But the North had said then that they were not ready, that they should still give some time and all that. And so that drew blood between the Yorubas and the Igbos. And today, Kemi is saying, I'm a Yoruba person, but I am not a Nigerian. That is what that same anger that they are saying, that is even.
Would you say that Kemi tacitly used these statements to whip up sentiments and curry some political favor to assume the Conservative Party's leadership position? This statement that she made, were they tactically done to whip up sentiments to have that, favor from members to assume that leadership position in the Conservative Party?
Otherwise, they are being the negative, because those who pummeled Nigeria into this political mess is the same UK. They conducted the worst census ever in the world that has put, the desert to be more populous than the rainforest region. It is not there anywhere in the world that you will find that the desert region of a country will be more populated than the rainforest. So we won't be saying that, because Kemi, needs the British on her side to be able to pilot the Conservative Party. But what you see, I'm telling you, what happened to Kemi is frustration. She had said, it's not as if she does not know what the colours go through in the UK. She knows. But she's forced to align, to live in midst of them and all that. Because we just can't get our country working. She would have wished if Nigeria was working. So it's frustration that brought out the comments that Kemi has made. And that is the belief of so many others, onlookers in Nigeria. So it is not that at all. Then let me ask, another thing I really want to put here before this program rounds is who really hates Nigeria? Is it Kemi or the politicians that are ruling over Nigeria? Is it Kemi that is an enemy compared to the politician that will loot our treasury here and take it even to where she is? Because she's there. She knows what goes on in Nigeria even better than some of us who are here because she sees them. Is it Kemi that is more of an enemy to Nigeria compared to those who will travel from here to go access medical services as idea, or even ordinary tourism? They go there at the little opportunity before them. They jet out. Is it Kemi that is more an enemy? That, like my brother here has said about the fate of Nigerian Naira today. Is it Kemi? And I'm still asking some questions.
Okay.
Is there anything that is wrong with Nigeria bringing the fuel price down now that we have gotten our refinery, some of them working? We are producing crude oil and all of that. We are supposed to run at the same level with countries, OPEC countries. Are they feeling the same pains that Nigerians are going through? So is it Kemi that is more an enemy than to those who have put us in this squalor and pain?
All right. Let me come back to you in a moment.
Yes.
Comrade, let's talk about the fact that the UK, which where Kemi currently resides, is also bogged down by some of these challenges we're talking about. I mean, in one of our comments, she recalled how her house was burgled, but except that at the end of the day, the things removed were found, and then the culprits were also caught. That also happens here, where criminals get involved in criminal activities, and at the end of the day, they are caught. I saw recently that the bandit kingpin who masterminded the killing, the murder of a traditional ruler in Sokoto has been caught. All right? These are positives that we can talk about. So, and then in a sense, you also have the challenge of whatever institutional failure that we have in Nigeria, the UK, which Kemi represents, cannot completely exonerate itself from those challenges. So in a sense, they're also part of the Nigerian problem. What are your thoughts?
Okay, let me see it like this. You see, Kemi actually is basically doing a comparative analysis with the Nigeria state and the United Kingdom, with her experience in Nigeria and in the United Kingdom. And she has said in one of her interviews that in Nigeria, I had experience with the police. My brother's shoe was stolen. My brother's wristwatch was stolen. And in the UK, I had an experience with the UK police where my house was burgled by a thief. And my properties were recovered, and the person who did that was brought to book. That is justice by the police. But typical of what we see here, if your item is stolen or you were robbed, you go to the police station, you complain to the Nigeria police. Mind you, you will spend your money, somebody that has been robbed or somebody that is passing through any of such situations, you will spend your money to get a case file for police to open a case file for you. You get your money to mobilize the police to go to the scene of crime. You get your money to mobilize the police to go and arrest a thief. You might even get that criminal to the police station, and the case will be turned against you if you are not careful. Or you might even give information to the Nigerian police, and a thief in your street will be arrested. And in 2 days' time, you will see him roaming in the street, and the police will tell them who gave them the information about him. So it's a two different thing. In Nigeria, institutions don't work. We do not have strong institutions and systems that works. We only have strong men. that works. But in the UK, a policeman in the street can flag down an honorable member in the UK Parliament for an interrogation. Can you do that here? In the UK, every individual are entitled to the benefits of what the countries, the UK government makes available in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of basic amenities and welfare. But in Nigeria, even scholarships that are turned out by, is it PTDF, Prof. Sir?
Yes.
And other government institutions, go and check the list of beneficiaries. They are the list of the elites and politicians who occupy public offices. The question is, if institutions here are working, the big question to our vice president, where does he do his medical checkup? Are his doctors in Nigeria? Where are his kids? If Nigeria is so good, are his kids in this country? If our institutions are working, other question is, where does he go for his holidays? If he have even 2 days of off in his office, where does he spend them? It is only in Nigeria you see our political class sees Nigeria as a cemetery. They do all of their shopping and all the good things outside. It is only in their time of death that they are brought either by cargo back to this country to be buried. They only see this place as a place where they should be buried.
Okay, let me pause you there, Comrade Maogbede. Professor Yasele, let's get you to look at, because I saw your reaction on the last question that I asked Comrade Emmanuel Ogbede. But in addition to that reaction, I've heard people say that this stance taken by those in government are part of strategies to suppress, people criticizing what government is not doing well. We want to subscribe to that.
Kemi is simply selling the idea of restructuring. That is all. That is what the distinction. She has said it. This young girl she's about 40 years. She has future and all that. And she's not like those who are written, the beautiful ones are not yet born in Ghana. Akwe, Ama, or maybe Chimamanda and all, or Wole Soyinka, those who hide some of these their grievances in books. She has come out openly to express how she feels about Nigeria. She's just simply saying, I am of Yoruba ancestry. I don't have anything to do with Nigeria. You know what that means? So she's gone to her region. And that is what people have been saying since. Please do something to regionalize this country. It appears that we are too much a big elephant and nobody can administer this country the way it is. And this is what she's saying. And she came out openly to say this way. I said earlier about what between Zik and Awolowo, what it was. They wanted to at least make this a certain idea and all that. And then for those who were not ready for independence, then leave them out. But it is, I want to advocate here that I am for regionalization, the least I want of restructuring of Nigeria. That is what Kemi has simply done here. That is all that. So it is very clear. Our vice president wouldn't have made that kind of mistake and all that. They faced the real issues before him, not to take a swipe on what Kemi has said. Did you follow the visit of our president to France recently and all that? Did you see the lyrics in the rendition given by some who hosted him to a dinner in the evening? They were talking about corruption and all that in that day. And one of my colleagues in ASU had said, they are mocking our president. Nobody knows whether those who went with him will understand, even if he himself is not understanding. So that is it. I'm telling you. And then just tell me now, what is that visit meant for? What is the intentions and all that? And I said somewhere, desperately France wants to have Nigeria on his side and all that, to be able to do a relaunch in West Africa and all that. But I know that they will meet a very tough one.
Okay. Give me your take on this last line.
Yes, yes. You see, like the prof said, the vice president missed it. If you look at the swipe on Kemi, his statement was, you can as well remove the Kemi in your name. To her, that's an assault to her region, because the Kemi in question is not a Nigerian name. If that name was, let me not use any other ethnic, if that name was a name from his ancestral side, will he mention that? Why did he not say you can as well state the fact that you don't even have Nigeria identity or origin? He pointed the fact that you can as well remove Kemi from your name. So you see, these persons, they think differently from us. And that is why she has come out again to take the boldness that she has everything to do as a Yoruba child, but she has nothing to do with the North. She was also very careful not to generalize it. Okay? Now, just to state very clearly, sir, that the things that we should be looking at very clearly here is this, that our government must now wake up and look at the real issues that are plaguing this country. As we speak, Nigerians are leaving this country per seconds. Is it because they are comfortable? That's how Kemi left. As we speak, our doctors and our professionals are exiting this country per seconds. What is the country doing about it? If the country was so comfortable and good and all pleasant as the vice president is trying to paint and all of that, will all of this be happening? The answer is no. Give Nigeria good leadership. Kemi is only saying that Nigeria is a great country. That's where she said Nigeria is, they are poor people. No, Nigeria is not poor. We have poor leaders and leaders with poor mindset. Give Nigerian today good leadership, responsible and patriotic leadership. In 10 years, UK will be borrowing from Nigeria. Yes, the funds that UK, tell me any natural resources that you can find in UK. The funds that the UK is using to do all of that pounds is the highest currency in the whole world. More than half of those funds are looted from the Nigerian state and warehoused in the UK banks. And the fear and jittering of the political class vis-a-vis the vice president as he speaks right now, if you ask me in my own opinion, is that somebody like Kemi doesn't become the prime minister of the UK in the near future. Because if that happens, my brother, sir, Nigeria will be liberated from the shackles of political buccaneers, and will be liberated from the very iron grip of bad leadership. Because these funds, tell me any politicians today that does not have houses in the UK. Tell me the Nigerian politician that does not have banks, that does not have what's it called, accounts in the UK banks with millions of pounds warehoused there. Tell me the Nigerian politician that does not have investment and shares in UK businesses. Tell me the Nigerian politician that does not train their kids in the UK universities. Whereas our public institution, basic education in Nigeria is not free. So Kemi is going to expose the political elites. Kemi is going to expose all the political bad eggs and bad leadership of this country that is making Nigeria assume a very poor and sorry state. Very recently, there were reports of UN agencies that says the Nigerian police and judges are the highest bribe takers. Is it Kemi that said that? It's not. So instead of finding any loopholes in what Kemi has said, the scripture said that if a wise man is being rebuked, he takes the rebuke, he learns from it, he becomes wiser, and he makes adjustments. Nigerians and Nigerian leaders will never see anything in a constructive criticism to put this country in the right path. And that is what I think that the vice president should have done differently. To do an inward reflection to what Kemi is saying. She has criticized some institutions. She has criticized the political elite. What she has not done is that she has not criticized INEC. That's the only thing she would have done for us too, so that will also be in the international scene. Because the vice president is speaking on all of this today. We are in a country where ASU still go on strike because of the fact that government cannot honor their own agreements. And you say she should not speak?
Okay, comrade, our time is limited, but let me just take a final word from Professor Iyasare. Particularly, do you think that if the federal government had just ignored Badenoch, this issue probably would have just fizzled out?
Yeah, it would have been better for them. Yes, it would have. But then, I know it would have reverberated. Because, like he has said, if Kemi becomes the Prime Minister in UK, okay, she will want to do something concerning it.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Professor Emmanuel Iyasare is the former chairman of ASU, University of Benin, former head of chemistry department, University of Benin. Thanks for coming on the program, Prof. Comrade Emmanuel Ogbidi is the Network of Civil Society of Nigeria President of the state. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you very much.